So let's understand how do we behave or react in day-to-day life. Any action you do in terms of your communication or your performance or your behavior is started with a trigger. Someone says something, or you see something, or you interact or observe something, that's a trigger. So in this picture, you see the red small circle on the top, that's a trigger. That trigger activates some thinking or processing in your brain. It's an external stimulus which drives something. That trigger or that thought or that information goes into your brain, and a lot of work is done. So it goes through some certain filters. It could be distort that observation, it could delete that observation, it could create a faulty thinking for you, or it goes through trying to create some meaning out of it based on your beliefs, your values, your identities. It tries to create some meaning for you based on your motivation and your goals and ego and life script and rewards and fears as you see them. It tries to change that thought, and also goes through your life experiences, all of your life experiences which are accumulated. That thought goes through it. Now you don't notice it, but it happens in a fraction of a second. But that is how that observation, that trigger is processed in your brain. And based on all of these processings, ultimately, it results into something. If you look at the bottom, the green box, choices, rules, tools, priorities, faulty logic, whatever, it results into something which you want to execute, and that goes into your action and reaction. But everything, anything you observe in your day-to-day life goes through that process and ultimately result. That's why two different people may look at the same things and behave differently, because they are processing going through different components in their mind based on their beliefs, their values, their life experiences, and it results differently. If one person is not behaving well and the other person is behaving well or reacting well, looking at the same trigger, it's because that their internal thinking is different. Their internal values are different. Their internal beliefs are different. One exception which happens in many cases, especially when you negatively react, that your mind may bypass the whole processing. So someone would say something very emotionally upsetting to you, a very serious blame or something nasty you don't like or something about your family. It's so emotionally strong that it bypasses the whole process and it directly go from the trigger red circle to the action reaction red circle. It doesn't go through any processing. You just react it based on the strong trigger. One example is you might have seen on the national TV when there are VIPs or celebrities who are not stupid people or politicians, and they started to physically fist fight because someone said something which was so emotionally upsetting for them that in their brain, the whole system bypassed, and that trigger directly resulted into action, and they were fist fighting with each other. And later on, when their emotions were calmed down, they were just questioning themselves, what did I do? Because it was not in their controls. So this is just one extreme situation. You also need to be aware that when serious argument happens or when physical fight happens or something serious happens, then the triggers are so strong emotionally that it bypasses the whole system. Now, this is a scientifically proven process. Experts say that how could you control this process if there is a natural way that external triggers create thinking or create action and reactions for you? How could you control it? This is from Steven Kabi. Steven Kabi says this is a framework that every trigger or every stimulus will come from outside. Before you respond, there is a freedom to choice. You could make a choice. You are free to make a choice. This is very powerful. Any stimulus, this is a trigger coming from outside. Before you react, before you respond, you have a moment, very tiny moment, but it's a moment of freedom to make choice. That's why it is said that we cannot control the external triggers. We cannot control the behavior of the people. We cannot control the bad habits of the people. But what we could control is our reaction. How do we see them? How do we react to them? That's the power we have. That power comes from the self-awareness, developing conscience, developing an independent will, feeling that you could control it. You have the power.